What's up, Internet? You're tuning in episode 164 of Nintendo Noise, Slipscreen Games' weekly Nintendo podcast. I'm your host, Pete and Bessie, joined as always by my very good friends and co-hosts, Mr. Steven Radford.
Hello, hello.
And Miss Sierra Plus Ultra.
Hello.
Hello, my friends. Welcome back.
I really wanted to come up with a Donkey Kong sound, but I couldn't remember what it was in my head.
Like that one?
It's kind of like Scooby-Doo in my head. That's
What
what he sounds like, and I don't know why.
It kind of does. Ooh, banana.
Ooh, banana. That is like, I don't know that there's any job I wish I could have more than that specific voice acting gig.
Like, take Seth Rogen's job, please. He's literally just doing Seth Rogen. You would instantly do a way better job.
Pete for
Please,
Donkey
Pete.
Kong. Let's make it happen, everybody. I, too, am a popular
His
stoner.
job, You pay 25.
Oh, man. Yeah, so I'm excited about this one. I think this is going to be a fun episode. We had a direct just a few days ago now, and or no, I'm sorry, just yesterday now, right? Time is weird. And we got a not insignificant deep dive on the Donkey Kong Country area of Nintendo Land over at Universal Studios Japan. And of course, both that and the Mario stuff that we've already seen are both going to debut in Florida just next year in 2025. I don't know what the timeline is for Donkey Kong Country coming to the one in California, or even if it is. I don't know if there's enough space for it, but we've been talking about this for a while, right? Like we've seen sneak peeks of the coaster. There's been a lot of like nods to what was going on behind the scenes, but this was the first time that we really got like a proper look at it. We got, a little tour with Shigeru Miyamoto, as they like to do. And
Miyamoto's everywhere. He's at the museum. He's at the park.
he's keeping
He's
busy.
just having a great time. He's like,
He always looks really happy.
He really does.
He
He's just like I really aspire to stay in touch with my inner child the way that he has, like he just always seems like he's enjoying the work, and I think that's the best you can hope for, right? And not to mention, like, it is, I can imagine how emotional it must make you feel to like see characters that you drew like 30 years ago, like you can meet him now, right? Like it's like, and it's like you're there, you're right in the middle of this world that you dreamed up in your head. It's like, that's so cool. What an amazing experience that must be for him as like a now, he's like in his mid 70s, right? 80s even? I don't even remember, but he's old. He's real old. He's making games for 30, 40 years already.
I'm telling you, he looks good for someone in his 70s, though. Like, he looks really good. Like, really, like, sprightly all over the place. He's getting on roller coasters. He's just having a grand old time.
Man, I'll tell you what. Obviously anecdotal, but it's like I had both my great-grandfather and my grandmother were, like, sharp as a tack till the day they died, right? Till, like, they dropped dead, basically. And both of them said, it's like, you got to keep living. You can't, you're going to get old either way, but like, you can't just sit around and rot. You got to be out doing, my man's out here designing theme parks. Good for him. No wonder he's still got energy, He's taking on new, exciting creative challenges as he enters his 40th year as a creative professional, or 40th, fourth decade, we'll say. I don't know exactly how many years it is, but yeah, God bless him. Truly a hero. And I'll say this, I'm happy to jump out in front and like, I wore my Walt Disney World hoodie because I'm a Disney theme park guy broadly over Universal. These parks, like the stuff in the Dark Universe, like all these new things they're working on, they have a bunch of folks that are like former Disney park people that like designed a lot of this stuff. And it really shows, I think, in this area. Just like the theming, and like I think there are a lot of people that prefer Universal because of like the thrill rides and stuff, but like the theming has always been, I think, pretty bad in my opinion. Like,
agreed.
Disney is like, you look at like Galaxy's Edge, like the Star Wars area, and how like immersive that feels, and how much it feels like you're in a space rather than like I'm in a building with like pictures on the wall. It's like you go to like the Simpsons area, it's like it doesn't feel like you're in Springfield. It feels like you're walking past a building that like has decals on it, and it's not the same thing. Whereas like this, like they had that whole sequence where like he's in Nintendo Land, and you go through this tunnel, and it turns into like a rock tunnel, and you start hearing the Donkey Kong like jungle beat music, and then the country theme as you get further in, and it's like just that level of like immersion and realization, and that like when you're in the center of the park, you can't see anything beyond Donkey Kong Land. Like you're not looking and seeing the back of another part of the park or something like that. Is like just really cool, really well executed, I thought.
Yeah, it feels very very separate from even the Mario section. The fact that you have to go through that tunnel and you really are in like Donkey Kong Country, you are not anywhere else. I thought that was really cool. The fact that you couldn't see any of it, was hidden behind that one up store, and you went through the tunnel. Like I love
it's good
stuff
design.
like that. I think it's great. Yeah, which I think was similar to the video that you posted of going to Galaxy's Edge, right? You sort of go through that tunnel and you end up in
like
that,
as you're
that
going through
Star
the
Wars
tunnel
area.
you start hearing like atmospheric Star Wars music, and then as you get through, it's like the whole score, and there's sound effects, and it really draws you in, and it's like you don't feel like you're like, oh okay, like I turn this way and it's Star Wars, I turn this way and it's Disneyland, right? It's like it gives you that sense of like separation,
Right.
and yeah, I think that's really like I thought that was really well executed, and like broadly I thought the theming was really good. Like when they showed, and we'll jump around a little bit, but when they showed like the Golden Temple, right, which is where the coaster is, like the big theme ride that's like based on the minecart levels from Country, like the queue, right, like it doesn't just look like a line in like a concrete building or like a slab, right? It's like it's designed to feel like you're in the temple and you're making your way through it, and there's murals on the wall, and there's like a mural that was like a reference to the original Donkey Kong level, and like the golden bananas from 64 and stuff, and like you get these little bits of environmental accoutrements and storytelling and everything that like kind of elevates it and makes it feel like every room you're in, there's like something to look at and engage with, and not just like stand in a line, and I think that's something that like the best Disney attractions always do well, and it's nice to see that same kind of approach here.
Yeah.
I feel like the letters finding the Kong is a nice tie-in to Donkey Kong Country, and it also like encourages you to look around the area to play with the different things like the drums.
The rhythm game.
That looks
that
so
was really
cool. And I love that. Feels like a really good evolution of like some of the stuff we saw them do in the Mario section, where it's like you go and press on this and then a coin pops up, it's like there's little things like you doing a conga pattern and then like having the rhino from Country like pop out is like, that's just cool. Like that's the kind of thing I can totally see like blowing a kid's mind, right? And like giving that sense of like, whoa, like the world is reacting to what I'm doing. And it's like, I felt like it felt a little half-baked with some of the Mario stuff, and to me that was like such a better like, it's more fun. It's more fun to hit a drum than it is to go just like touch a block and okay,
yeah,
great. Like, it's like I get it, but it's not. I don't know. It's.
I feel like the touching the block's cool if you're 4 feet tall and you're jumping up and you're a child. You're like jumping up.
Fair.
And having to reach
Which is probably who it's meant for, but I'm like, I want something good to happen.
It's like I'm 30 years old. Let me play the congas. It's funny because like the things with the K, I'm torn on that because I'm with you in the like, I think it's a cool nod to the games, right? Like to have like a collectathon kind of thing. I want there to be something though. Like I want there to be some kind of like, and maybe there is and they just didn't tell us, but like if I collect all of them, like what happens, right? And it's
There's
like
something in the app, like it said, it registered in the
right.
Universal Japan
But like
app. So
what happens? Because like that's a thing that I think like you see that in a couple of the like I brought up the Star Wars area in Disney, like they have that where it's like you scan a QR code and there's like this fucking game but it's boring, it's not fun, it's not engaging, it's just scanning stuff on your phone and there's no depth to it, there's
but
no
again,
reward.
as an adult, like when I was a kid, like I used to love doing these things, like running around the zoo and finding like all the different things and like writing it down on my piece of paper, and like at the end,
but at the end you would get a thing usually, right? Like you'd get some kind of like, here's a little badge that you got for doing it, or here's a sticker book, or you get a pin or something. And I feel like I'm sure
your parents can take you to the gift shop and spend lots of money on badges and things.
That's the thing, though, right? It's like you have to buy like those like amiibo bands to interact with all that stuff anyway. And like we had Chewy on like a year or so ago. He went to Japan and he got to go to Nintendo World for like a day. And yeah, just I don't know. It seems like an idea that is not well developed, in my opinion. That like it's just not really been explored as much as it could be to reward you for spending that money. I think if you're gonna have people buy these exclusive bands or whatever and like do these like kind of ARG interactions, I would like there to be some kind of a reward for you spending your time that way, when it's like you spend a lot of money to go to this theme park. Like, wouldn't that time just be better spent on a ride, right? Like, and if it's not, then why, right? Like, it should have some sort of hook, right? Aside from just like, you can scan it and it shows up in the app. It's like, okay, like I don't.
There's a lot of things I can scan that appear in an app.
Right. And like, as somebody who like, I'm a huge Nintendo guy. I've become a big theme park guy in the last couple of years. Like, I like to buy fucking
the evolutions that Pete's gone through in the last few years. He became a basketball guy and a theme park guy.
Yeah, you always gotta keep evolving, bro.
Man.
You gotta keep evolving, I'm still all the other types of guys that I was. I'm just, 30 different shades of new kinds of guys. You should always be evolving into a new type of guy, is my opinion.
Came out of COVID and you're like, all I really want to do is go and ride Space Mountain right now, and you just went straight down.
I want to ride roller coasters, watch basketball, and start a fish tank. I'm a weirdo. I encourage all of you to find the new guy that's just waiting underneath the surface. You never know. I didn't know that I could find new ways to get hurt, and basketball showed me I could. It taught me a whole new way to experience pain. To put a period on that thought, I just feel like that idea still feels a little underbaked to me, and I would like to see them explore more of it and not just be like, here's new character bands that you can buy and the functionality is still largely not very interesting. Like, I am so predisposed to buy goofy bullshit like that, and I'm like, I don't know that there's much here, but I don't know. Maybe I would feel differently if I got to see the entire thing in action. Like,
Yeah, it could be that there's more to it. It could be that the app unlocks something exclusive that maybe you can trade it in for something we don't know. That I guess will become evident. But if that wasn't the case at the Mario section, I can imagine it's probably not the case at the Donkey Kong section.
And like, I want to be clear. I feel like a perfect solution for this would be like you unlock like an exclusive Nintendo Switch online icon or something. Like
an icon, or give me like something extra for like one of their mobile games.
Yeah,
we could sort of tie it in with that.
But it's like they do that like every time a new game comes out, right? It's like, oh, it's like a limited edition icon. You got to use your Club Nintendo points and get the icon, or it's gonna go away. It's like, just do something like that, where it's like you have like a unique piece of Donkey Kong art with like a little banner that says like Nintendo World Japan or something like that. Like that, that would go a long way to just be like, it's like Discord Flare or something like that, right? It's like, cool, great. Like, I get to feel like I'm a special little guy because I did my little game.
See, you said something like, oh, maybe your time's better spent going on a ride or something. And part of me, when I was watching this, forgot that this was inside Universal, a part of a much, much larger park. And I thought it was just like, oh, this is just Nintendo World. And there's like, I was kind of disappointed that there was only one ride in this section.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I kind of expected a little bit more because I think there's 2 rides in the Mario world, right? There's the Mario Kart
And then the
ride
Yoshi thing.
and yeah, the Yoshi thing, which is kind of like just a monorail. But
It's like a kiddie
um,
ride, yeah.
yeah, I kind of thought there would be more, but I guess putting it in perspective that yeah, you could go to see the Harry Potter section or go to the Simpsons house or go do anything else at Universal.
Yeah, and I think part of it is also that, like, I think when you have like a super heavily themed area, it's like, you know, there's a lot of stuff you got to design. You know, it's like I'm sure they will add rides over time to the area, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it is like they just have one big feature ride in each section or something. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was challenging to make multiple immersive rides that match the energy of the entire section.
probably, you know, it's like the Donkey Kong coaster seems like a very high concept idea. So it's like, but I mean, that's, I guess, part of the problem too, right? Is like, if it is really sick, it's like, man, it's going to take forever to get on that thing. If there's only one ride in the area, right? It's like, this wait times are probably going to be really long, which
Do
is,
they
Yeah.
have like a fast pass system at Universal?
I don't know. I'm not super up on the intricacies of Universal like that.
Yeah, I don't remember either. I remember I went 4 years ago to Universal Orlando and did both of the Harry Potter parks, and the newest ride at the time was Hagrid, the Hagrid one.
Mm-hmm.
We waited online for 2 hours.
Oh, that's
It was
rough.
abysmal. It was so bad.
Yeah, that's no
I
good.
don't. Yeah, I don't remember if there was a fast pass system back then.
There probably isn't there. Like I'd be happy going to this area and not even getting on the ride if it was a 2-hour wait, but I know that is kind of rough. Like if you're going all that way and kind of expecting to go on these rides, it's like you're gonna sit around for 2 hours when you could go to another part of the park and use a ride that no one's going on because it's old.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see because if there is some kind of like ticketing system or whatever that you can take advantage of, I'll probably do that to not have like a quarter of my day monopolized by a line. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm such a I'm so not a big Universal guy. Like, that like I'm totally happy to just go and spend the entire day in Nintendo Land and then dip.
Yeah.
No, yeah, me too.
Oh, you know what? They are going to do a section based on the Universal monsters, and I also that's cool. I like old horror movies. So.
Oh, so we can have King Kong and Donkey Kong in the same park?
Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. So let's talk a little bit more about what they showed off. There's a couple other things outside of the coaster and everything. I guess to put a pin on the coaster, the only like thing that I was not like crazy about was just like I think it was a real letdown that they were like, all right, like let's show you how the ride works, and it's like it pulled out and then they're like, that's all we can show you. It's like, what the
Well,
Yeah.
do you want an alleged spoiler?
Oh yeah.
There's tech on the Minecraft coaster ride that makes it look like you jump over a broken part of the track.
I know. I want to see it so bad.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I
how
know,
does that
you know,
work?
I know.
It sounds so fucking cool.
Yeah.
It's like you literally see like two broken things, and it like supposedly it looks like it flings you through the air or whatever. It's like there's no way that that's how it works. But how does it look like that?
I know.
I just want to see it in action.
Right?
Yeah, I think that, I don't know. It sounds very cool. And the other thing that I did think was neat was the whole like animatronic pre-show that they had with Cranky Kong and and Squawks was like, that was really cool. And that's like another very like Disney kind of thing, right? Of like, here's this animatronic or like a projection or something like that that's gonna like set the stage for you and tell you why you're here and what you're doing, and we gotta go get the big golden banana, and it's like, all right, cool. Like, yeah, it's immersive, right? And it's another thing that like while you're sitting there waiting in line, there's a show, right? And like something that you're getting to engage with so that it doesn't just feel like you're standing in line for 2 hours. So
Yeah, I
ahead.
thought it was really cool. And like Dixie was there at one point, right? Inside the Golden Temple?
at the
I think-
beginning
Yeah,
of
she's
the
waving you off.
ride. Yeah, she's like sitting there, and like Miyamoto says that she's like saying something, so I'm wondering if there's going to be like
She'll be like, oh no, the track's broken. Look out.
Yeah, like I'm wondering if there's gonna be like characters like as you go through who are like, turn this way, oh no, like that. And it's Diddy Kong and he's got a jetpack.
I hope there's a funky mode like on the ride. I want to activate funky mode.
So you can't die.
Yeah.
Speaking of funky, they showed off the new merch shop that they've got over there. It's called the Flying By, which is like based on an actual like shop that Funky had in one of the games. Yeah, I mean they showed like just kind of a small like pan across, but it was like obviously it was really cool to see like all the Mario stuff like when they first kicked off Nintendo Land, but this feels even a little bit crazier than that because it's like, man, it's a store of just Donkey Kong. Like that's so crazy. Like what a like, if you had told me that when I was like 9 years old playing Donkey Kong 64, I'm like, what? Like really? DK has his own store, his own land? And I don't know, like seeing that really like brought it home for me. I think of just like, man, yeah, there's a whole store of Donkey Kong themed toys in this place. That's crazy.
Yeah, I definitely want like a big like Mario themed banana to take home though. Like I feel like that would be really cool.
Definitely. There is also the they showed off the food installation. I don't know if it's like a cart or whatever.
Oh, like the Jungle Beat Shack or whatever it's called.
Yeah. And they have like a signature like banana themed shake that's in like the giant like wooden DK barrel as like a mug, which is awesome. I really hope that those are like souvenirs and you can like take one home. I thought that was a really cool thing.
I think they will be because like I know you can get the big question mark cube filled with popcorn.
Yeah.
At, the Mario Land.
Yeah, I thought that was fire. Like that's the kind of shit where I'm like, cool. I would love to take one of those home. That's really cool.
Yeah. And it was pretty. Like the way that it was, I love the Japanese's like attention to detail on like themed desserts because like it's supposed to look like a barrel exploding. So it's not just like the shake, it's also like it has like stars in it and it like has food coloring, so it also looks like it's firing out and like it's so pretty.
And you have that little like there's like a little I'm guessing it's like white chocolate. It's like a little like garnish of like a design of Donkey Kong at the top and
yeah.
Like, very cool. Very cool. And then they have like a giant looking DK hot dog, which I thought looked pretty good. We'll see. You get your Mario burger at the museum. You get your DK hot dog at the theme park. You'll never have to eat a non-Nintendo themed food.
Oh yeah, don't forget like the mushroom soup or whatever you get at the Toad Cafe. That looks
so funny.
Yummy as well.
It's very weird theme park food. But fair enough. And the last like big thing that they showed off was it's like DK's Treehouse, and I did think it was a little unfortunate that it's a very like universal thing to be like, you can see it, you can't go in though, it's just a building.
I know. I hated that with the Disney Castle too as a kid.
I want to go inside. Yeah, it's like, and it's like in World at least there's like a restaurant at the top, like you like could go eat up there, but it's like there's literally nothing here. It's like there's no. I want some kind of like it would even I could just go walk through it and just be like cool, like. Here's
I know,
house.
and like see other things. They used to do stuff like that, and I don't know if they still have it. I don't remember from my last Disney World trip, but in Magic Kingdom, you could go inside the houses of Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy, and you could just like see all their belongings and like the stuff and like their kitchens and like their home furnishings. And I really like I would have loved something like that for Donkey Kong. Not that that's like in the Mario part of the park, like, but like. If they're gonna do the treehouse, like let me in.
Yeah, let it be a space I can go explore. Yeah. Yeah, like I just went to Disneyland not that long ago, in California, and like in they have like the Toontown section, and like they have all those spaces you were just describing, and like you can go for a character meet there, right? And it's like this is basically the same thing. Like that's where they showed you can go and meet DK and get a picture with him and everything. That's really cool. it would have been neat if you could go inside and like do it in there, or like that was a walkthrough thing, and then when you were done walking through it, then you got your picture, something like that. I think that would have been a nice way to like take it even further. But I will say, considering like to my memory, like the big, like full-size character suits are I think less common at Universal. I know they have like a lot of like people in makeup and stuff. Like I know they had like a Beetlejuice show for a long time, and they did a thing with like the Ghostbusters. That's just like people, right, in costumes. I don't remember there being a ton of the like oversized characters. And I think the DK looks really good. Like it's just
So good.
really, really well executed costume. And
He's so large.
he is, like when Miyamoto like was hugging him, I was like, oh my God. He's like
He's like
literally got like 2
He's like
feet
a
on
freight
him.
train. He's so big.
It's crazy. And yeah, like that stuff is really cool. And it's nice to see these characters that I have so much affection for like get that treatment, and like get put on that same pedestal that we put, cartoon characters.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like Mario and Donkey Kong for a lot of people is their cartoon characters, is what they grew up with.
Totally.
And they probably are more famous than a lot of cartoon characters. It's like for kids, I think this is going to be an incredible place for them to go. Like I'm excited as an adult, but I can't imagine going to anything like this when I was a kid. Like
I
it
would have
been,
lost my
I would have been
mind,
insane.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have lost it. Yeah, I mean, a lot of other stuff they got to deal with, but kids got it pretty good in that regard. So the planet's burning, but you can meet Mario. That's pretty sick.
Oh, what a trade-off. Oh my God. Your future is not promised, but at least you can wake up and play your Nintendo Switch and also go meet Mario.
But yeah, I thought this was a really good sneak peek. I would have loved to have seen more of the coaster because it feels a little silly to like play it close to your chest when like we've all seen the design documents and leaks, and it's like anybody who wants to know what the coaster looks like knows, and like kind of like trying to like preserve that surprise feels a little bit like silly to me at this point. It's like, just show me it. Like I'm in.
No,
right?
see, no, I don't know. Like, I kind of feel like it is something special because, like, we're still talking about, like, okay, well, how does the jump in between tracks actually work? What
That's
does
true.
that look like? And
I
like,
guess
we are curious.
if you're not as dialed in as we are, going and having that happen with no expectation is like obviously really cool,
Yeah, in the same way that I'm sure that Mario Kart ride with the augmented reality and stuff, where it was like, oh, you put these goggles on. If people didn't know about that, and like all of a sudden you're picking up these like cubes of items and stuff as you're going around
Yeah.
the track, that's gonna seem insane.
And like most people
Yeah.
are normal people and like
Yeah.
don't do what we do. I have that reminder every time I'm at a Disney park and I hear someone being like, did you know this thing? I'm like, what, you didn't know that? You came here, you didn't know? You didn't know about this?
You casual.
Absolute casual. You're not on the blogs? You're not watching YouTube videos? What are you doing? But I'm really excited. I'm excited for this to come to Florida next year. I definitely am eager to go and check it out for myself. And I'm just excited, I'm like Miyamoto. I'm just a big kid on this one.
What do you think is next after this section? Because presumably they've already got the next section planned out for where they're going to expand after this.
I mean, I don't know. Like, you'd think Pokemon, right? It's like Pokemon.
See, I don't know. Like, I thought maybe Zelda, because like
I
Pokemon
think
makes sense, but
Zelda's
they
more
don't.
likely.
That does
They
make
don't
more
own
sense.
100% of Pokemon.
You're right. They do have Pokemon like parades at the one in Japan and stuff. So it's like there's not zero Pokemon representation, but to your point, Zelda probably does make more sense.
Or Animal Crossing. Like, I could see myself going to Nook's Cranny and
That's
like having a look
true.
around there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's tough. It's tough.
I can't really envision, especially for Pokemon though, what kind of like rides they would do. I mean, listen, I want to know what it's like to walk through like Little Root Town or like Goldenrod City as much as like anybody else. but that's like the only thing I can think of is like walking through the environments that you can explore in the games. Like someone is probably screaming at us like like listening or watching this right now and it's like, but you could do this and this and like, yeah, probably, but like I think Zelda's more likely to me.
I think you're probably right. It's closer to Nintendo's like core identity, I guess. Like Pokemon's obviously a Nintendo thing, but it's also kind of its own thing. That makes sense to me. I will say, as soon as you were like saying that, I did have an idea, which is there's a ride in Animal Kingdom where it's in the like, what is it? Pandora from Avatar. It's in that section where you are on this like, it's like a 4D thing. Like you sit down on this thing that's like, it's like a motorcycle like kind of shape almost, and like you sit on it and you're like angled forward and you're like holding on to these I don't know, like handles, like it's like a rein, and you're on the back of this like big flying alien monster from Avatar, and it's called Flights of Passage, and the whole thing is like you're up against this big screen and they like take you out and like lean you over it, so like you can't see the ground underneath you, and you it's basically like a flight simulator, but like, you know, you're like on the back of this big thing. Do that with like Charizard, right? And it's just like you're riding a Charizard, maybe, you know, you're fighting an Entei, you know, like from Pokemon 3 or whatever. I think you could do something like that. That would be cool. But yeah, aside from that, I don't know how you turn like catching Pokemon into a thing that you are doing, and it's like that's obviously what everybody.
You could do that. Like I'm sure there's a way that they could have like you throw a Pokeball and it looks like it's like, you know, is it going to catch it? The ball's like shaking. There must be some kind of crazy tech they can do in order to do it.
I think to Sierra's point though, I think it is difficult to realize some of the things that are like most iconic about it in a way that is like a theme park attraction and not just like paying lip service to like of just like there's a Pokemon, go touch it with your bracelet, you caught it, you know. It's like, okay, that's not really
like, the best thing I can think of is like they kind of take the Pokemon Stadium mini games and kind of like do something like that where it's like
that's an
the
idea.
Attractions are centered around a Pokemon and what that Pokemon can do or does. Like
you could have like a water slide or something like that, and here's a water Pokemon, you know. It's just like whatever.
Yeah, I can't think of a lot that wouldn't be like you describe like simulated experiences, but I could be wrong.
I feel like part of the problem is almost that like it probably just like needs its own park, right? Like being a section. It's like it's just such a broad IP, but I don't know. That's also me saying that I just want to go to a place that's totally focused on Pokemon, and that's deeply unsurprising. So
yeah.
And they're all walking around beside you everywhere.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think Zelda probably makes the most sense.
Yeah, I think there's probably a lot of scope of what they could do with that, like a coaster or something makes sense.
And like, you know, like Hyrule Castle, like as a, you know, like a central vantage point kind of thing would be really cool. You know, there's like all the different like cultures that you could like you could have like the Zora's Domain and Gorons and have like, you know, not Mount Doom. That's Lord of the Rings. What is it? Oh my God, I can't think of it.
Mount Fire. Something like that.
I literally can't remember, and it's killing me.
Me neither.
Somebody's screaming right now, and I'm sorry. My brain is just nothing. But the Goron Domain, right? Like I forget what the mountain's called, but it's a volcano.
Mount Fire goes crazy. That should be the real name.
Ocarina Class. That's the other one. There you go. You build an ocarina out of a potato, and then they teach you.
Oh no, that'd be so cool! Like buying ocarinas and things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to go to the Wind Waker ship that talks to me.
The Red Lion, King of Red Lions.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah. Sure.
Is that right?
You could do a ride based on that, like you're on the ship.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, that'd be cool.
There's loads you could do, but the thing is, like, where do you go? Because like you could also be like, oh, I'm going to be inside the, you know, the beasts from Breath of the Wild, and like we incorporate those in some way, and like, you know, it's like so much.
You could do a ride with the sand walruses.
Oh, that's a great idea.
in the
That'd
desert.
be fun.
Oh,
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and I think like yeah, you probably just do something like that, right? Like you like try to like represent the different corners of Hyrule like in a condensed, kind of like almost like Epcot kind of way, right? Where it's just like you can kind of like just go through the different regions.
yeah.
Um
They gotta do a stage show, like Indiana Jones.
oh my god, I would love that. I would unironically love that. That would be so great. I love a practical effects show. You could like totally just have them do like it's like that scene in 64 where the Deku Tree is like he's like telling the creation myth of Hyrule and like the three goddesses and everything. You could do something like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, like that's kind of like how they have like Turtle Talk with Crush in Epcot.
Sure.
They should have like a thing where you could talk to the Deku Tree.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Free ideas, Nintendo.
That would be a sick cornerstone too. Would be to have the tree with the face and it like moves and like when you come up to it, you do something and it talks or whatever.
Maybe there's a maze. You gotta go through the forest and find the tree.
That'd be cool.
And then you can see if you can pull the Master Sword.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that would be cool. Yeah, I love that idea. There's a lot there.
Yep.
I think would be a missed opportunity to not have to like they have like a thing in Galaxy's Edge where you can like build a droid or you can like build your own lightsaber. Like give me an experience where I can spend $200 and like pull a Master Sword out of a stone and take it home with me, right? Like
Yes.
absolutely I would do that. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I
That's
want a
the
forged
one.
Japanese sword that I'm gonna take home on a flight somehow.
Yes.
Yeah. Whatever. just they'll let you ship it home.
Yeah.
You can do
TSA
that.
is like, what is this? Like,
No, you ship
have you
it.
noticed?
That's the thing. I'm not
Oh,
taking it on a
okay, yeah.
plane. You ship it home. I've done that before.
A sword?
Not a sword, but I have
Oh.
shipped a thing home like that before.
There's
But,
gotta
like-
be something.
Yeah, like people are shipping swords. Like you could, like I'm sure I could go online right now and order a sword that, like a katana that was like forged in Japan, right? Like I'm sure that
yeah,
exists.
yeah, of course,
right?
kids.
Yeah,
I
just
imagine-
never thought of that.
Just
Yeah.
have some, because like you can't see it behind me and I'm not going to get up to get it. I have a droid behind me that I bought in Disney once and I didn't have the room to take it on the plane, and I just like they literally had a thing at the gift shop where I could just give them my mailing address and they shipped it to me.
Oh.
So I'm
That's a genius idea. Disney really think of everything.
yeah, any way that they can take your money.
Yeah.
Hey,
Wow.
as long as you're happy with what you're getting, right?
No, I know.
Yeah, it's like I think that's the kind of stuff I would love to see them have, just as a nod for the older people, because Sierra and I both famously sword people, and I would love to have another Master Sword, my other one that's on the
Yeah.
wall over here. Not enough apparently.
Yeah, because I got my Master Sword and someone made a comment that was like, it's not identical though. I was like, what are you talking about? They're like the base. And I was like, man, but like it's live. The one that Nintendo, the replica that they are going to start selling.
Pitch perfect.
Not live. That's not a live sword. I can stab somebody with mine. But the replica is also very beautiful.
Yeah, and like I do think it would be neat to see a few more like things like that are aimed at the older folks with like a little bit more money and like are happy to buy like an expensive souvenir like that.
Yeah, I think Zelda's the perfect opportunity for that. Like it feels like that's the more adult franchise, that or Metroid, but Metroid I don't think is enough there. I think Zelda's probably the next section they build out, unless they want to keep it Mario themed and we expand that. Donkey Kong's very Mario adjacent, I would say.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like that to me feels like a little bit of a synergistic thing, because like they're gonna make the movie that's like gonna be just DK focused, and like to your point, like obviously DK is very associated with Mario, but like he has a ton of ancillary characters and stuff that are like just from his side games. So it's like I'm trying to think of like you couldn't really do that with like Yoshi. It's like I just don't
I
think
was thinking that too.
there's not as much
Well,
there.
They're
Yeah,
doing
like,
a
if
Zelda
anything-
movie as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
So,
I forgot about that.
playing with that, Nintendo and Sony Pictures did the Zelda movie together.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. Fingers crossed.
Everything is live action.
Everything is CG.
Just make cartoons. Cartoons are good. I like cartoons, and I don't know. Zelda, I feel like is like so tough, to do that. Like, I don't know. Like, video game adaptations are inherently like a little tricky because of like how much agency you have over a video game and how much like it is your decisions and all that kind of stuff. But like even with Mario, it's like Mario has a voice, and it's like they changed it and it's like they took creative liberties, but it was easier, I think, to see like how you make a movie in which Mario is a character who talks for an hour and a half, where I'm like, we're going to make a Zelda movie where Link has a voice? We're going to make a movie with a mute protagonist? It's like, I don't know. Like both of those.
Maybe it's not about Link. Maybe it's about Zelda.
I guess, but I don't know how you do that. It's like Zelda can be the primary actor in the story, but it's like, how are you going to make a movie about The Legend of Zelda and not have the player character? It's like, I don't know. That seems like a tall order, well, who knows? It's like, I think that there are probably, a million different ways you can do it well, but that I have a lot more concerns about that one than I did about Mario, for sure.
Yeah, because like at least Mario's design, like it was still pretty faithful to like the original, like extremely faithful to the original 3D model. What the fuck are they gonna do with Link? Like, I realize that even in like, game to game, like Link's appearance changes anyway. But if it's too off the mark, like it's gonna be like what happened with Sonic. Everyone's gonna fucking hate it.
Yeah, and I mean they ended up, figuring something out there. Like I feel like, the second Sonic movie especially, I was like, okay. Like, to your point, right? It felt like it got the language of it right. Like it understood the assignment a little bit more. And yeah, I just feel like Zelda is so tough because it is like there's a bit more like pomp and circumstance to Zelda, and it feels like it's something that should be treated with like a bit of reverence and like I don't know how you make that while also making it a like family, all ages. Not that it needs to be like gritty or dark or anything, but that it needs to be like funny and silly and accessible in a way that like makes sense for Mario and feels a little bit more like weird for Zelda. It's like
make it look like the Toon Zelda games, and I think then maybe you can just be like,
that's true, and you could
That's the
lean
way.
into like the physical comedy, and like maybe you do keep Link like as a mute and just have him like really be like very expressive through like like Toon Link makes a lot of noise even though he doesn't talk, right? Like it's like he has a lot of personality, and you could maybe that is the way. Well,
All
either
I know
way,
is
go
if
ahead.
I see one high-speed chase scene in this Zelda movie set to AC/DC, I'm burning it all down.
You mean you don't want needle drops in your Legend of Zelda movie?
can we have like an
No.
AC/DC bod core though? Like, I'd be so down for that. Like, let's just get some of that in there.
Here's what I'm gonna counter with. I think if like when we inevitably get a needle drop in this movie, do like Over the Hills and Far Far Away by like Led Zeppelin, right? Like do something that like if you're gonna do a needle drop, do something a little, folky, a little mystical, a little something that like it's like I don't want to hear AC/DC.
Yeah, no cock rock. Please.
Exactly.
Keep cock rock out of my Zelda movie.
Keep cock rock out of. Yes, exactly. Oh man. Okay. Well, I don't know we're gonna top that one. So keep cock rock out of my Zelda movie, and let us know in the comments down below how you feel about DK Land, and if you're excited to head up to Donkey Kong Country either in Japan or when it comes to the U.S. or wherever, however you're going to get there. I'd love to hear from you. I know a couple of our audience are big theme park people. I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking, and if you're already planning your first visit, like we may or may not be as a group. We'll see. Field trip, baby. Folks, thank you for joining us here on another episode of Nintendo Noise. If you want to share your thoughts on this or any other episode, if you want to go check out our sister shows, the Flip Screen Games podcast or the Steam Deck podcast, if you want to keep the conversation rolling between episodes over on Discord, or if you want to go above and beyond and show your support on Patreon, you can do all that and much more by heading over to flipscreen.games. That's our website where you will find all the places we are, all over the great, glorious, and disgusting internet. However you choose to get involved, thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being a member of the community. We love you. For the crew, I've been Pete. He's been Steve. She's been Sierra. We'll see you next week. That was a little bit more Tim Allen.